So now I've decided to use the x. Now I can do whatever that I want. Remember, inside this account, we have something called balance, and we also have interest rate. So now we didn't do anything in that interest rate. I didn't write a function to calculate everything there. I told you guys that we're gonna do it inside the int main. So what can we do now mathematically? I'm gonna write it down here. I'm analyzing what I want to do. Right? I have a balance, which is B. I have I interest rate. I have N number of years. A student or an investor can decide to enter 1,000 rand. I'm just giving with a small amount, and the interest rate they can give him 8%, which is equivalent to 0.08, and then which means I have to divide it by 100, and then equals to, and then the number they can say 3 years. So if you check the other thing that you never saw, maybe I'm not sure if I've told you before, you see this percent in mathematically. If you never know what is the meaning of that, it's 100. Why do we divide by 100? Because this year that thing you see there are 2 zeros there. You see it's divided by 100. So that is 1, and those 2 are zeros. These zeros. That's why every time when you have something in percentage, it means you must know that you divide by 100, because they already wrote it there. That's why you have that thing for percentage. If somebody asks you that, you must let them know. You will know it when you are doing honors in maths, when you are calculating, if you do pure maths. .08, yeah. So if I have this data now, if I'm calculating, what can I do? You know that the account, the interest that the person is going to do, you have to convert that to 200, because the person can decide to say, okay, they say they are going to give me maybe 80%, for 70% like this. We have to divide it by 100. So to divide this by 100, that's what I did there. So which means to do it in the int main there, even in the function, I must have something, because like now if I just say I divide by, it won't mean anything to the computer. And now when I have this, I have to calculate the interest you gained in this 1,000. What must I do to calculate that interest? I can say, okay, my interest here, if I have it, I can take the balance, the B, I multiply it by what? If I multiply it by I, then which means like that will be my what? This is going to be my interest that I gain when I invest that 1,000. But when it comes, this is just an interest if you're just doing a once off. But because we are going to be doing it for 3 years, you also have to multiply by number of terms. Multiply by n, which is 3 years. So this is the interest, but it's not the complete balance. So which means for the complete balance is going to be, now I can say to get my complete balance, I'm going to say my balance is going to be equals to the way I showed you when you are incrementing, balance plus what? Plus interest. Balance plus my interest. Now doing this, I have already analyzed what I'm going to do in my program. So which means I have an idea of what I have to do when I do my coding in this question that we are doing. So now after that, I have declared as an account as what X. Then when I'm inside the int main, I'm going to be using X dot. That's the only thing that you must take into account. I declared my interest on top as a float, so I can say float interest now. And then I can also declare my, I can say float interest. Now in your computer you can still do it. We just gonna assume maybe, but in your computer sometimes when you say like you must have for the interest, because the user is going to be using it as a like a percentage, and we have to divide by 100. If you divide it once, sometimes your computer might forget it. It's possible. Then you can make another formula. I'm gonna use something else, as long as you don't forget. I'm gonna use y. Let me use y into y. This y is going to just to convert completely whatever the user enter, which is interest. Now you have these two declarations. We can now start calculating. My y, I will say my y equals to my account that I use x is going to be equals to x dot, because the dot operator is very important. Dot, what do I want to do? I want the interest rate. You see everything which is there, it's already there. So you just have to use the dot operator. It will tell you what do you want to do. I want interest rate. And then what do I want to do with the interest rate? I want to divide it by 100. Okay, that's the formula for my interest rate. Then now after that I will say, okay, I have found the interest rate. I want to calculate what? I want to calculate the interest that I'm going to gain. I already declared it as interest there. Interest, let me just interest. Okay, yeah. My interest rate that I want it to be is going to be what? X dot balance, obvious, because I want the balance, and I want to multiply my balance by according to the formula that we used. I'm going to multiply my balance by interest, but now our interest we're going to use y. We're no longer going to use the other one, because y is already been declared as dot there. You can x dot, you can just write y like that. But after that also I want to multiply by number of years. Number of years is not here in my int main, it's in my structure, which means I must use dot x dot what? Number of years. But sometimes now I will assume that the user is going to be entering numbers in terms of 1 to 3, not monthly. Then I have done the part of calculation the interest, but I didn't do the part of calculation what? The total amount that I will get, the user will get. So the total amount, I can just say x dot balance. Now I'm changing, it's like incrementing the way I said, equals to balance. Balance now is going to be equals to balance x dot, so that you can access it, balance plus what? Plus the interest rate. Interest rate is already here, so there is no need to say dot. We only do dot to things that are in the structure. Take that into account. So this one x dot balance is going to give me my balance. Now you are done. You can just see out your balance, everything, it will be fine. Then I will just show only see out balance. I will just say see out. Now to do the balance one, which means I'm going to say x again. If I want to see out, you see dot balance. Let me just put see out so that there must be a space. Just want some space.